James Lynch here for MiddleEasy. Happy to be joined by Rob Font, who will be taking on Jose Aldo at UFC Fight Night on December 4th. Rob, how's it going, man? I bet pretty damn good.
Hell yeah, man. Like you said, big fight. I can't complain, man. I'm in a good spot. I'm excited for this fight. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'm actually playing golf today, so I figured we'll definitely get some golf talk in at the end. It's raining right now. I'm hoping it doesn't continue this afternoon, but rain or shine, we play golf here in Vancouver. It's all good. So we'll talk about that in a sec. But man, there's so much going on in your division. I wanted to start first with the interim title fight with Sandhagen and Yan. Were you called for that? Because you were one of the names that I kept hearing was popping up as a potential replacement for Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, man. I was unfortunately obviously we got the call, but I just got off of a whole COVID situation. We weren't training.
Oh shoot!
So I couldn't jump into that fight. I was pissed, but things happen for a reason. Should have never went to Texas.
Right. Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so when did you get COVID? Let's sort of start there as far as the timeline.
It was like maybe almost a month ago, I think. So like a month ago. And then I was out not training for like 3 weeks, and then or 2.5 weeks, and then the day I came back and was able to kind of even leave the house, we get the call, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't think I could do this one. And then they're like, we try to push it a couple of days back, but they needed the fight to be out there, not a couple of days, but a couple of dates back, and then it would have been smart on my part. And then the Jose Aldo situation came along, so I was like, oh, perfect. This works out even better.
As far as not fighting for the title, this has got to be a good option for you as well. Maybe a nice consolation prize, if you will, getting to fight a legend in Jose Aldo. Just quickly, sort of on the interim thing. So do you know if you were the first person offered? Because I would think the only two names that would have made, three names, I should say, that make sense would have been yourself, Aldo, and Sandhagen. And Sandhagen obviously got it. So do you know if you were first choice, or do you have any insight into that? Is kind of what I'm asking.
Yeah, from my understanding, it was kind of just me and Sandhagen.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Because Aldo did lose to him last year. I just felt that maybe that was an option as well. Okay, so glad we set that record straight. But how does that feel, man, knowing that you were the first call on the dial, there ahead of Sandhagen?
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it was like, they pretty much said, hey, we're going to we want to see if you want to do it, but we're also offering it to Sandhagen as well. So it was like, it was unfortunate we had to turn it down, but it was pretty cool that we got the offer, but it kind of sucked because I wasn't sure if it was going to be for the title or for the intern. So it was kind of like, oh man, but once you found out it was the intern, I was like, oh, it's not the worst, So, but things happen for a reason. I felt like I would have been rushed. I would have just been doing it just to do it, and it would have been my best performance. But we get another tough fight, another legend, and I'm excited to get in there and put this guy away.
And one more thing I was kind of hearing rumblings about, was there ever, prior to you getting COVID, was there ever talk of you being the backup for that original Sterling and Yan fight? Because I know there were some thoughts about that as well.
Yeah, not necessarily from the UFC, but Tyson was always kind of whispering that in my ear. He was like, listen, let's do that. And then sure enough, it happened, So, but there was nothing official. Like the UFC never reached out to us.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because I don't know if you know, Yuri Prochazka is the backup for the other title fight between Yan and Glover. I don't know if you were aware of that. So I know that's a thing, right? Is having backup fighters for title fights.
Yeah, I heard that a couple of times. Yeah, I mean, it'd have been cool though. So another thing is, I think I'm still dealing with that suspension with USADA.
I was going to ask you about that too. Yeah. So what? Yeah, might as well dig into it now. What happened there? Because I know credit to our buddy Nolan King, who I know did a great story on everything, but I'm still sort of understanding. So what happened? Take me through that whole USADA thing, and thank God it didn't turn into anything, right?
Yeah, no. So basically, I was using this hemp lotion. And the day of the fight, I guess I tested positive for a chemical called meclofenicate, and it was confusing, but then we was going through it. We were getting tested like every other week. We had a bunch of labs and scientists. Obviously, they believed us. Donna and Jeff were on top of this, as long as Tyson and Kathy, it was basically my levels were too high, so they kind of raised the level of testing for the chemical called meclofenicate, which I'm saying, I got, obviously it was pretty cool because it actually helped out a couple other it was like I believe, a skier that got kind of in the same situation, and there was a Korean baseball player that was in the same situation. So, it worked out, but it was annoying. So I wasn't sure if I was even fighting for the next year. So we were dealing with that. So I was like, all right, let's just go to Texas and, I clear our head. And we went out to Texas. Then we finally had the final hearing in Texas, found out, I was cleared, and then come back 2 weeks later, I got COVID. So it was just kind of like a long process of kind of not knowing what was going on. So that was probably one of the reasons I wasn't even in the conversation as far as a backup for Yan and Sterling.
Okay, interesting. And yeah, I mean, thank God they've changed the USADA ruling, right? Because imagine if that had come out and said that you got popped by USADA. Fans, you know how dumb fans are. There's fans who still think Yoel Romero cheated, right? Because of that whole supplement thing. And so, I mean, I guess that you kind of like, like when it comes to how that all got handled. Because I know we saw after the fact they like cleared you, right? Yeah.
Yeah, everything's clear. They it was tough at first because we had to research and find out what was going on. We had to go back and backlog everything I was eating, everything I was taking that the last 2 weeks, and it was scary for a second, but after like the first 2 days, I knew we were fine because I knew I didn't take anything, and then obviously Tyson and Kathy were just on top of it, as long as Jeff and Donna, and they basically figured it out within like 3 weeks. It was it was in my shampoo, it was in the sunscreen I was using, it was in the lotion I've been using.
Interesting. Okay, well that's nuts. What were you doing in Texas, by the way?
So Calvin Cater's sister actually lives out there. And
oh, cool.
It was like a New Brunswick, Texas, I believe, and there was like a river house / surprise 40th birthday for one of their cousins, Jesse. So we just, it was like, had nothing to do. Wasn't sure if I was fighting again. We just went out there. We hung out, brought my mom. It was pretty cool. We had a good time and just floated the rivers, enjoyed Texas, enjoyed the food, and had a blast.
It's good. You didn't bring your golf clubs?
We did not. I don't know
how the golfing is down there.
Whole year, man. We've been slacking this whole year.
Okay.
And we bought a membership as well. We played maybe 5 times.
Okay, gotcha. And then how bad were the COVID symptoms? If it affects everyone differently, but how long did it keep you out of action for?
Yeah, so my girlfriend Kathy, she was trash. She was throwing up, fever, headaches, all that. For me, it was just my throat. I just had a sore throat, and I felt a little run down. It wasn't the worst, but it definitely stopped me for like 2 days.
Okay. Yeah, and obviously you got to be careful with that with your lungs and everything else as far as, taking a fight. You don't want to fight Petr Yan even without, you got to make sure you're good to go if you're fighting a guy like that, right? So
so obviously you get the first call, you're like, yeah, I don't care. And then you're like, well, let's think about it. And then, I was like, oh man, this could be a bad move. But it is what it is. I know my time's going to come. I just got to be prepared for it. There was a lot going in before this. We even got these calls, but even then, I just gotta be ready for the next call, and I know it's gonna come.
And the next call is Jose Aldo. What a cool fight this is, fighting a legend who's still getting it done. He's not that old. It's just he's been around for so long that people forget, just how young he is. He's like early 30s or whatever. I think 33, is his age. Yeah. But how do you feel like you match up against him here? One of the best strikers in MMA, and obviously he's good everywhere. He's a speed killer, so to speak.
Yeah, I love his style. Obviously I grew up watching him. I think I match up well with him. I think my length, my accuracy, and my movement and my feints are going to be a lot for him to deal with. And I feel like I'm going to overwhelm him with just the looks I give him, and then hopefully everything goes smooth. I capitalize and get him out of there as soon as possible.
Anything different for this training camp, or usual training partners and everything else? Any cross training? What is this camp looking like, sort of leading into it?
It's more grappling. It's always just more grappling as much as possible. More trying to obviously get the wrestling. The plan is to get this guy to shoot on us. Once we know we're overrun him, he's shooting, and we're stopping a couple of takedowns, then again I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to put him away if we can force him to take shots. But then again, it's Jose Aldo. I got to be able to stop those shots. So we're just we're just constantly trying to improve the wrestling and grappling.
Cool. And imagine, is Calvin good as far as training partner and all that for you? Who you getting to work with?
Yeah, so we're bringing in a couple of boxers. We always at least box 1 day a week, and then we have a couple of kickboxers coming in. But for right now, it's mainly obviously Calvin, my boy Tom, and Nick Fiore.
Oh, cool. That's great. And we haven't talked, I don't think, since Mitch Raposo was on The Ultimate Fighter. Unfortunate what happened to him there, but he's fighting on Contender Series. I just spoke to him the other day. How excited are you for him to potentially get in the UFC?
Yeah, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to find on the card with him. Since the first day I watched that kid just shadowbox, I knew this kid's legit. We always bring him in all our camps. He did a lot of rounds for Cody. He did a lot of rounds for a lot of my fights. He can mimic a lot of guys. He's fast. He's quick. The energy he brings, the enthusiasm that he brings to the room is just top notch. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for him. His fight on the show was very close, and that guy he fought was pretty good. And you saw he can do it. I'm just excited for him, and again, I can't wait to fight on the same card as him.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize, like, he's done fight week with you. He's been in, gone through that whole experience already. So he's someone I know you rely on a lot, even though, I know he doesn't have a ton of experience, but he's someone that you saw something in and sort of has mentored, so to speak, throughout his career, right?
Yeah. I try to help him out as much as possible. We don't get to train as much as we used to.
Yeah, I spoke to him. He said he's at Lozon's mostly for this camp, just because of sort of the scheduling and stuff. He was just in Vegas, so I know you haven't had a chance to work with him this much for his fight.
But I stay in touch with him as much as possible, and he's got the right mindset. He got the right work ethic. And I'm excited for him. He just he's got to go out there and just have fun and do what he does, and he's gonna start putting guys away.
And sorry, I forgot to ask this earlier about the camp thing. Are you back to training full time right now, or did you just accept this fight? Okay, so you're no symptoms. You're all good to go.
I got a solid 2.5 weeks in so far. Felt good. The first sparring session was a little rough, but it wasn't the worst. So I was all right. We're good. And then I sparred Tuesday. I felt so much better. So we're slowly making those gains, and and then obviously the drill sessions are always hard and intense. So regardless, Tyson and other coaches make those hard as possible, so the fight can be as easy as possible.
Calvin, what's the latest? I need some inside scoops here. I know Calvin's kind of been off social media, kind of, being a bit of a rogue, which I don't blame him, right? Like, why even have to worry about any of that? But I'm hearing some rumblings. He might be getting a fight book soon. What's the latest on him?
I'm here in January as well. I was hoping he could be on the same card as me, but I'm here in January. I believe I threw out 2 names. If I'm probably gonna forget his name. What's the guy's name? Something with the G. The striker.
Oh, Giga Chikadze?
Yeah, I'm hearing that name, or the Arnold Allen.
Arnold Allen, interesting. Okay, because I know Chikadze was actually someone they had as the backup, I believe, for Volkanovski and Ortega. So that's great that Calvin sort of held in that regard as well. So
yeah, so like that's just the rumors. There's no contracts there, and I'm hearing also like maybe the 15th, January 15th, but we'll see. You know how it is.
You never know. Well, look at what happened the other day with I don't know if you saw with Derek Lewis and Chris Daukaus. They announced the fight. Daukaus's team is like, we haven't signed anything yet, and I know they do that sometimes to just. I mean, I'm sure it's going to get booked, but still, it's interesting that the UFC sometimes jumps the gun with stuff like that, right? So it's one of those things until the contract signed. It's kind of like I don't say anything, Yeah, no, for sure. Weight cut. Are you still working with Perfecting Athletes, or how are you sort of managing the cut going into this?
Always. So we're always on text and phone calls with Paulina and Michelle from Perfecting Athletes, and they're always giving us great recipes. Obviously I hate the food while I'm eating it, but I love it as I'm cutting weight. But I have a solid team behind me now, and we're right where we want to be.
Corner, Tyson and Calvin, I'm assuming, right? Is that who's going to be in the cage with you?
Yep, it'll be Tyson, Calvin, Jake, and Catherine.
Good stuff. And how's this fight playing out on December 4th? You and the legend, Jose Aldo.
I think I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna try to pressure him the first round, and really try to look for the finish in the second. I feel like a guy like that, you can't be on your back foot. You got to go forward. You got to push him backwards, and because you let a guy like that get off, he'll be able to do that all night. And my job is to stop him, get him a little tired, try to finish him in the second round.
There you go. Wanted to get your thoughts too. We talked about the title. There's a lot of stuff going on with the title, the fact that it's interim. First off, Sandhagen getting the shot. Do you think that was the right call? Because again, Aldo, I guess I'm sure you wanted Sandhagen so then you could fight Aldo, but just your thoughts on him getting the shot against Petr Yan.
Yeah, I mean, congrats to him. I think it's going to be an amazing fight. He's right there. That TJ Dillashaw fight was pretty close. So, I know he's itching to get back in. And, I wish it was I wish the fight would have been me and Sandhagen fighting, but it is what it is. Again, like that guy's a killer, so I know eventually we're going to see each other.
Did you think he beat TJ Dillashaw in that last fight?
As I was watching it, I didn't. I didn't. I thought I can see how like they're going to give it to him because of the back control and the pressure, and he kept giving up his back. But then obviously you watch the damage, so it's kind of like. But yeah, if I felt a little differently after I watched it, but as I was watching, I'm like, oh, I feel like he's going to get screwed here, and it happened.
I give you a $500 gift card to Golf Town. Who are you picking in that main event between Sandhagen, or not main event, the title fight between Sandhagen and Yan? Who do you think takes it?
I'm going with Sandhagen.
Interesting. How do you think he gets it done?
I think he's very smooth and very calculated on just picking his shots and not rushing it. I think he's just going to just kind of win a decision and just kind of be a smart, well played out, long striking type of matchup.
And then also, a lot of people are saying Aljamain Sterling should be stripped because of everything. Fans are being weird about the whole thing. And I understand part of it, right? The way he handled himself after the win. But just your thoughts on people asking for him to get stripped when he won the title back earlier this year.
Yeah, the fans are brutal, man. Fans are brutal, man. They're trying to take this guy's head.
Do you think that's the right call, though? Do you think it should be stripped, or should it just be an interim title like they're doing?
I think it should be interim, but if it goes any longer, but that's the trade. Like how long? Like we don't know.
I think 1 year's fair. 1 year you're off. Even injuries, whatever. I think that's when you can talk about the S word. But I think interim's the right call right now, right?
Yeah, I think interim's the right call. If he keeps going any longer and he can't do it, then obviously we're gonna have to strip him. So we can get the belt around my waist. So yeah, I mean, right now it's the right call. But then again, it's like I hope he heals up and gets injured. Heals up and he's not injured anymore.
Well, I'm sure you hope he gets injured again. Then he's out of the picture and you slide in a little bit further with the win. I'm joking, obviously. The other fight they announced recently was this Dominick Cruz and Pedro Munhoz fight. You fought Pedro. Just your thoughts on that fight and who you see potentially winning that one, because it's interesting.
Yeah, I like it. Munhoz is a dog. Obviously, Cruz has that funky footwork. He's a veteran. Always has the wrestling in his back pocket. I like Pedro for this one. I like Pedro. I think he's gonna make Cruz stand there and just fight with him.
Have you been told that if you win this, you could potentially be next for a title shot? I know it's a little logjam right now. If Aljo comes back, he would likely get the winner. You've got Dillashaw waiting in the wings. Have you been told like you need one more, or what? Has there been any sort of talk of the implications of this fight? Is kind of what I'm asking here.
Obviously, nothing yet. And I'm pretty sure Tyson's been asking and all that, but all he told me is that we got Aldo. Right. So just focus on Aldo, and then we'll go out there and figure out everything else after the fight.
Yeah, and there's very few people who've beaten Aldo in his career. So, I mean, if you get that win, that's obviously looking good on the resume regardless. A Jose Aldo win looks pretty good going forward, right? I think we can agree on that, which is awesome. Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the news. Just wanted to sort of get your thoughts on that. First things first, Cody Garbrandt, a guy that was in your division. He's now at 125. How do you think he'll do in that weight class? He's got that fight coming up against Kai Kara France.
I think it's going to be a great fight. I like both their styles. They both bring it. I think he's going to be great at that weight. From what I hear, he doesn't cut that much weight, and it's pretty easy for him to go to 35. So, hopefully everything's smooth, the same way, the same weight cut. He still has that same kind of feel when it goes down to 25. But I'm excited. I'm excited for that fight. I think it's a good move.
Really disappointing news what happened a few weeks ago with Jon Jones. Just your reaction to what happened to Jones, and then the details that came out, some pretty bad stuff, some alleged domestic violence.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Come on, man. It sucks. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. He's a champ, he's a legend, but it kind of like you start reading all that, you start seeing all that, it kind of just takes away from everything he's done. So yeah, I just hope he gets help. I really hope he gets help. It's kind of like, that bottle's a motherfucker, man. It changes people. So it's like, hopefully he can pull it together and clean himself up. Not even for like fighting again, just for himself and his family and his kids. So it's unfortunate that it gets to get played out and for the whole world to see. So hopefully,
I was going to say, if he's found guilty, do you think this is the final straw? Because if he's guilty of domestic violence, that's usually a sign that, hey, they might have to part ways with you.
Yeah, then again, it's got to be bad business for the UFC. I'm assuming, it's like so. But I don't know, man. Dana White is. He does what he wants, so we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I just hope he gets help, man. I just hope he gets help.
Yeah, no, well said. Got to talk some golf. You said you got 5 times this year. When was the last time you played golf?
Horrible. Probably like beginning of the season. Yeah.
Really?
Horrible.
Okay, so it's been that long.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Okay. Are you going out with Calvin, or who are you playing with when you go out?
It's usually me, Cal, and a couple of the other guys. But I get out there. I got out there maybe once by myself. But no, it's like we really haven't played at all this year.
No driving range either?
Not even that. Yeah, no par threes. Just a handful of times we played in the beginning of the season, and I paid for my membership this year too. So it's like what am I doing, right?
Yeah, give me a refund or something. Yeah, they should base it on how many times you go, or at least give you let you push it over to next season or something, right?
Let me roll it over.
Yeah, you got to tell them, hey, I'm fighting Jose Aldo. I deserve some better treatment here. We'll see. But Rob, thanks so much for doing this, man. Always a pleasure. Really looking forward to this one on December 4th. Maybe we'll link up closer to fight time, see how camp went, do sort of a follow-up there. But in the meantime, man, anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, and where they can get that awesome New England Cartel merch that you're wearing.
Yeah. So, I just want to give a shout out to you again. Thanks for having me on. All my teammates, my friends, family, everybody that supports me. And again, New England Cartel. Look at the website, newenglandcartel.com, and support the cause. But again, thank you again having me on. And December 4th is going down.